Hello and good morning. We're carrying on with our blank today. This is going to be part 2 of a multi-part series which we're doing on building change gears for our traction engine restoration. We're currently restoring Little Lauren, the 8 nominal horsepower expansion engine. Hopefully you can hear me over the rain, but we're carrying on where we left off last week. So we're going to carry on with this big lump of EN9 and start carving into it until we got a part that we can use on our engine. So let's crack on. We left off, we got this rough turned on one side. We've now flipped the part, as you've seen, put a centre in it. We're just going to take this lip off and then we'll be going over to the bandsaw and taking a slice off the end of there. So without further ado, let's get on. So we're taking a 2.5mm depth of cut, 5mm off the part, and the load meter is just under full tilt. Let's try 6mm, so 3mm depth of cut. See what I'd do. About 7. So that's So that's 3.5mm depth of cut, 7mm removal. Still doing alright. Probably bang the coolant on now. Alright, so that was 7, let's try 8. 4mm depth of cut. 8 total mil removal. So it looks like with that tool, in this lathe, 8mm total removal, 4mm depth of cut is going to be what we're going to be staying at. I'd like to push that tool a little bit harder and get it to break a chip, but I think it's going to overload the lathe doing that. So I'll try slow the RPM down a bit, that might work. So 4mm, 8mm total. Slow the RPM down. So that didn't help at all, so next thing to do will be up the feed rate. There you go. So let's try that. Might be too much for it now, but let's go back to 6mm depth of cut. And that just stalled out the Mastiff. So she hadn't got the power needed to get this to break a chip at that sort of depth of cut. So I'm going to back it back down. Definitely didn't like that. But now we know the limit. We will have to do away with the stringy chips when we carry on. We'll have to find a different tool holder, but for now Let's just get this down to size and get it in the bandsaw. Oh no. Oh, that was lucky. Right, now this is right on the limit of what this bandsaw would do capacity wise. It's actually over the capacity of the saw. I've had to take the second clamp off just to get it in there. But I think this might be just right on the limit. So what we're going to do is we want to take, this is too long, so we could turn all this off, but I would like to save this if I can to make a test blank like we done last time, and just use that to test our gear teeth before we cut the main teeth. So I want to take a slice off of there. We'll see what we got for width. Whatever's left over, hopefully we can use, but it might be too thin, but save us turning it off anyway. So I'll get a measurement, get it set, and then we'll see if we can chomp through it. Right, so she's in, she's set. We have to hold our bar up. Right, so I'm not sure that's going to give us enough to make our blank out of, but let's cut it off anyway. It's a shame. Right, so the part was bottoming out on the saw, so we have to rotate it and keep going. Right, so we got our slice, but I don't think it's going to be thick enough for what we need, so if we don't use it, I'll eat my dinner off of it. But I think I'm going to get a bit of profile made up. But we saved a bit of steel anyway, so we can use this for another job one day. But I don't think she's thick enough. Originally I intended to order 2 pieces, but we only had one show up, so I figured we might be able to get this off and use this, but turns out she's no good. I'll ask anyway, we might be able to get it out of it, I don't know. But we'll put this to one side for now and get that other lump back in the lathe. Right, so we're back in the lathe. First thing I think I want to do is put the through bore in. We need to put a 3-inch hole in this piece so that when we mount it up on the Sunderland gear shaper, that's what the arbor size is, so that gets us almost in the central position, and then we'll bump it around. So what we need is a 3-inch hole down through this part, so that's what we're going to do first. I'm just going to face it off, and then we'll start going in with the big drills. So now you have to bring out the big guns for this. Just get a pilot down for it with a long reach drill bit there. So I'll mount that up and we'll fire a hole down for her. I have to centre that first with a so long drill. Fucking drill. Let's try this one. It's a bigger diameter, but it's should be long enough to get all the way through. The only reason I was using a smaller diameter is to put a pilot in, but that one was drilling alright, so. Right, so that's a pilot down through it. It's that a 2-inch drill. Right, so I'm gonna chuck a 2.5 in. It's the biggest I got around here, I think. And I'll bring you back once we've got this one drilled. So next up, we need to get down and bore that out to 3-inch. So I'm going to mount this up, and then we'll send this down and clean up our bore. So it's not the right one. So this other bar wasn't gonna work. I think that's the right insert in there. It's all the geometry's wrong on the end, so that's been put over there for future reference. We found this one, but he was a bit big, so we showed him the belt grinder, and that should just give us enough clearance now, hopefully, to get her down through the bore. It was close, it's just rubbing, so slight modification, and I think we got her. Right, so that's got that chewed out of there. Finishing brilliant, but this is just to locate it on the mandrel, so as long as it's slightly over 3 inches, we're showing 10 over 3, 10th out over 3 inches, so that'd be plenty. Check her a bit further down. That's saying 7 under. So we're well in the ballpark with that, so that's done for now. So next thing I just want to do is we're going to want to take some heavy cuts on this outside now, because we're going to be turning this down. Next feature I'm going to do is going to be this portion. So it's going to be this portion here, so we need a lot of metal removal. We've got to remove all this metal. So what I want to do, so I want to get a bell center in this end, just to keep that as rigid as possible when we take the heavy cuts, to give us the best chance of success really. So I want to put a little bit of a, well, I suppose you call it a center. Just going to put a chamfer on this inside edge so that the bell center can run in there. And then we can start on the OD of this blank. So that's up next. Right, so I'm not sure you're going to be able to hear me over the rain. It's absolutely chucking it down out there. But all I'm going to do I just square my tool post up against it. Still hammering it down. Right, so that's it. That's all I can do today. That's all I got time for. We made a good start on this now. Next week we have to start doing our heavy turn-in and get this section reduced down. So we're making good progress, but time is limited and that's all we got time for this week. So thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.